Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I am so happy that you are able to join me this morning. It is a beautiful day to be alive. All praise to the Most High for waking us up this morning and breathing life into our bodies. I'm excited to get back into His Word with you and pick up right where we left off. So, as usual, go ahead and get all the things that you need for studying today. Get your swords, get your pens, your papers, your note cards, get you something to drink. I'm drinking water this morning, and we're going to pick right back up where we left off in Genesis. We left off at Genesis chapter 47, so we're going to pick back up at Genesis 48. And if you remember, when we left off, we had learned that the Most High had brought all of Joseph's family to Mitzrayim, which we know is Egypt. And he brought his father, Yaakov, and all his brothers and all of their livestock and their possessions. And now they are now dwelling in the land of Egypt, in the land of Goshen, there with all their family and their possessions. And it's been about 17 years since they've been there. And now Yaakov, the end of his life is drawing near. And so he's asked Joseph to make a promise to him that he will bury him in the land of his fathers, in the burial place that they have, and that he will not bury him in the land of Mitzrayim. And Joseph has agreed. Okay, so now we'll pick back up at Genesis chapter 48. Genesis 48. And after these events, it came to be that it was said to Joseph, "See, your father is sick." And he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And Jacob was told, "See, your son Joseph is coming to you." And Israel strengthened himself and sat up in the bed. So here in this scripture, Jacob, who is Jacob, has been told that his son Joseph is coming to see him. And so Israel, who is also Jacob, right? Because the Most High gave him that new name. He strengthens himself and sits up on the bed. Verse 3. And Jacob said to Joseph, "El Shaddai appeared to me at Luz in the land of Canaan and baraked me." And El Shaddai is Hebrew for the Almighty, the Most High. And said to me, "See, I am making you bear fruit, and shall increase you and make of you an assembly of people, and give this land to your seed after you as an everlasting possession. And now your two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, who were born to you in the land of Mitzrayim before I came to you in Mitzrayim, are mine. As Reuben and Shimeon, they are mine. Your offspring, whom you shall bring forth after them, are yours, and let them be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. And I, when I came from Padan, Rachel died beside me in the land of Canaan on the way, when there was but a little distance to go to Ephrath. And I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is Bethlehem. And Israel saw Joseph's son and said, "Who are these?" And Joseph said to his father, "They are my sons, whom Elohim has given me in this place." And he said, "Please bring them to me and let me barak them." And the eyes of Israel were dim with age, and he was unable to see. And he drew them near him, and he kissed them and embraced them. And Israel said to Joseph, I had not thought to see your face, but see, Elohim has shown me your seed. So Joseph brought them from between his knees, and he bowed down with his face to the earth. And Joseph took them both, Ephraim with his right hand toward Israel's left hand, and Manasseh with his left hand toward Israel's right hand, and brought them near him. So here we learn that Yaakov is sharing with Joseph what the Most High told him, that he's going to increase his people, and he's going to give his promises to Yaakov's seed after him as an everlasting possession. And Yaakov is telling Joseph that your sons are like my own sons. Your sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, are like my own sons, Reuben and Shimeon. And your offspring will inherit the blessings of mine, is what Yaakov is telling his son Joseph. And so Joseph receives the blessing from his father, and he takes the hand of his sons Ephraim and Manasseh, and he brings them toward his father's hand. Verse 14, and Israel stretched out his right hand and laid it on Ephraim's head, who was the younger, and his left hand on Manasseh's head, consciously directing his hands, for Manasseh was the firstborn. And he baraked Joseph and said, the Elohim before whom my fathers Abraham and Yishak walked, the Elohim who has fed me all my life long to this day, the messenger who has redeemed me from all evil, barak the youths, and let my name be called upon them, and the name of my fathers Abraham and Yishak, and let them increase to a multitude in the midst of the earth. Praise Yah. Verse 17, and when Joseph saw that his father laid his right hand on the head of Ephraim, it was evil in his eyes. And he took hold of his father's hand to remove it from the head of Ephraim to the head of Manasseh. And Joseph said to his father, not so, my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. But his father refused and said, I know, my son, I know. He also becomes a people and also is great. And yet, his younger brother, he is the greater one. His younger brother is greater than he, and his seed is to become the completeness of the nations. Verse 20, and he baraked them on that day, saying, and he baraked them on that day, saying, in you, Israel shall barak, saying, Elohim make you as Ephraim and as Manasseh. Thus he put Ephraim before Manasseh. And Israel said to Joseph, see, I am dying, but Elohim shall be with you and bring you back to the land of your fathers. And I give to you one portion above your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorite with my sword and with my bow. Wow. So a lot has happened here. Joseph has noticed that his father, Israel, is giving the blessing to his second born son. And so he's telling his father, not so my father, for this one is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head. And Yaakov is saying, yes, I know. However, the Most High has revealed to Yaakov that the younger brother is greater than the older. Okay. Genesis chapter 49. And Yaakov called his sons and said, gather together so that I declare to you what is to befall you in these last days. Gather together and hear, you sons of Yaakov, and listen to Israel, your father. Verse 3, Reuben, you are my firstborn, my power, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of exaltation, and the excellency of power. Unstable as the waters, you do not excel, because you went up to your father's bed, then you defiled it. He went up to my couch. So here, the Most High is, Yisrael is telling his firstborn Reuben that though you are my firstborn, my power, the beginning of my strength and my excellency, you are unstable and you will not excel because he defiled his father's bed. And if you remember back in, what was it? Was it Genesis 34? Okay, Genesis 30, chapter 35, we had read where Reuben had went and laid with Bilhah, his father's concubine, right? Bilhah is the mother of Reuben's brothers, Dan and Naphtali, and he had slept with her. And so here his father, Yisrael, is telling him that you're unstable as waters and you do not excel because you went up to your father's bed and he defiled it. Wow. And so this teaches me the importance of repentance, right? Because if you do not repent for the things that you have done, the sins that you have committed, the fornication in this case with Reuben, how it blocks his blessings, right? Verse 5. Shamian and Levi are brothers. Their weapons are implements of violence. Let my being not enter their council. Let my esteem not be united to their assembly, because they slew a man in their displeasure, and they lamed an ox in pleasure. Wow. Cursed be their displeasure, for it is fierce, and their wrath, for it is cruel. I divide them in Yaakov, and I scatter them in Yisrael. Wow. So, I'm looking for the chapter. If you remember back in Genesis chapter 34, when Shimian and Levi learned that their sister Dinah had been raped in the land, they went back to that land, remember? And they slew all of the men of that land. Like they slew all the males, and then they took all their women and children and all their livestock. And so here, this is what Israel is talking about. He's saying that to them that their weapons are implements of violence. And remember when they had done that, he told them that They bring his name to shame. And because of that, verse 6, he's saying that let my being not enter their council, let my esteem not be united to their assembly, because they slew a man in their displeasure, and they lamed an ox in their pleasure. Cursed be their displeasure, for it is fierce, and their wrath is cruel, because they went to that land and they wreaked havoc on everyone, even innocent people. And so because of that, they are cursed. Verse 8, you, Yahudah, your brothers praise you. Your hand is on the neck of your enemies. Your father's children bow down before you. Yahudah is a lion's cub from the prey. You have gone up, my son. He bowed down, he crouched like a lion, and like a lion, who rouses him? Verse 10. The scepter shall not turn aside from Yahudah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him is the obedience of peoples. Binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth are whiter than milk. Praise Yah. So here, Israel is speaking to Yahudah, and he's telling him that, wow, he's a lion's cub, right? And he will escape the prey. He will be preyed upon, but he will escape the prey. Yeah. And the scepter, which is the authority, the power, will always be with him until Shiloh comes, and to him is the obedience of the people. Binding his donkey to the vine, and his donkey's colt to the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine, and his teeth are whiter than milk. And this is the Shiloh is Hebrew for peace, the messenger of peace and rest. And this is the Messiah. This is the Messiah, Yahusha HaMashiach, the Most High's Son. And so here, Israel is telling Yahudah that he is going to have the authority. He is going to be a representation of that authority. And from his nation, the Messiah is going to come forth from his lineage. Verse 13. Zebulun dwells at the seashore. He is a haven for ships, and his brother unto Zidon. So here, Zebulun is going to dwell at the haven of the sea, and he's going to, and his nation, his seed is going to be a haven for ships to come. His land is going to be a safe haven where ships can come and dock safely. Verse 14, Issachar is a strong donkey lying down between two burdens. And he saw that a resting place was good, and that the land was pleasant, and inclined his shoulder to bear a burden, and became a subject to slave labor. And so Yisrael is giving his blessing to Issachar, and he's telling him that he's going to be strong. He's going to face burdens. He's going to face two burdens, to be exact. And but he's going to also inherit a land that is pleasant. And he's going to become a subject to hard labor. Verse 16, Dan rightly rules his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan is a serpent by the way, an adder by the path that bites the horse's heel so that its rider falls backwards. I have waited for your deliverance, O Yahuwah. So here Israel is telling Dan that he's going to rightly rule his people. He's going to rightly rule his people, his nation, who, as one of the tribes of Israel. And Dan is going to be fierce and mighty, right? He's going to be a serpent by the way, an adder by the path that bites the horse's heel so that the rider can fall backwards. So he's going to be fierce and strong and mighty. He's going to be strategic. He's going to be strategic, right? He's going to be smart, and he's going to be able to defeat his enemies. Verse 19. Gad, a raiding band, raids him, but he raids its heels. And so he's telling Gad that a raiding band is going to raid him, but in the end, he's going to overcome. Verse 20, bread from Asher is rich, and he gives delicacies as a sovereign. And so here, Asher is being told that he's going to oversee a land of fatness, right? Where his bread is going to be fat, and he's going to yield sovereign delicacies. Verse 21, Naphtali is a deer let loose. He gives words of elegance. And so Naphtali is going to be kind. He's going to give good words, 22, Yosef is an offshoot of a first fruit bearing. Yosef is an offshoot of a first fruit bearing tree, an offshoot of a fruit bearing tree by a fountain. His branches run over a wall. And the archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him. But his bow remained in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the mighty one of Yaakov. And from there is the shepherd. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel. From the El of your father who helps you, and by El Shaddai who barak you, with Barakah of the Shemayim above, Barakoth of the deep that lies beneath, Barakoth of the breast and of the womb. The Barakoth of your father have excelled the Barakoth of my ancestors up to the limit of everlasting hills. They are on the head of Yosef and on the crown of the head of him who was separated from his brothers. Wow. And this just summarizes everything that we've learned about Yosef once he was taken into Mitzrayim under Pharaoh's ruling, he became that fruit-bearing tree, right? For his family and for his brothers and for all of Israel, because just like the Most High had given him in the dream, and it came to be, Joseph did in fact become that fruit-bearing tree for his family, and all thanks to the Most High, Joseph's hand were made strong. Yeah. And he did receive the blessings of the Most High. Verse 27. Benjamin is a wolf that tears in the morning. He eats prey, and at night he divides the spoil. And these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father spoke to them. And he baraked them, and he baraked each one according to his own barakah. And he commanded them and said to them, I am to be gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron and Hittite, in the cave that is in the field of Machpelah, which is before Mamre, in the land of Canaan, which Abraham bought with the field of Ephron the Hittite as a possession for a burial site. Verse 31. There they buried Abraham and Sarah his wife. There they buried Yishak and Ribkah his wife. And there I buried Leah. The field purchased, and the cave which is in it, from the sons of Heth. Yes. Verse 33. And when Jacob ended commanding his sons, he drew his feet up into the bed and breathed his last, and was gathered to his people. Wow. So here Joseph has spoken to, Jacob has spoken to his 12 sons. And he has given them all their blessings according to what the Most High shared with him, what is to come of them. And remember, his 12 sons are the 12 tribes, the 12 nations that come from him. Israel. These are the 12 tribes of Israel. And we're going to read chapter 50 and in here. And Joseph fell on his father's face and wept over him and kissed him. And Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel, and 40 days were completed for him, for so are completed the days of embalming. And the Mizrites wept for him 70 days. And when the days of weeping for him were past, Joseph spoke to the household of Pharaoh, saying, If now I have found favor in your eyes, please speak in the hearing of Pharaoh, saying, My father made me swear, saying, See, I am dying. Bury me in my grave, which I dug for myself in the land of Canaan. And now, please let me go up and bury my father and return. And Pharaoh said, Go up and bury your father as he had made you swear. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all of servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Mitzrayim, and all the house of Joseph and his brothers and his father's house. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond the Yarden, and they lamented there with a great and very heavy lamentation. And he observed 7 days of mourning for his father. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning for the Mitzrites." This is why its name was called Abel Mitzrayim, which is beyond the Jordan. And his sons did to him as he had commanded. For his sons brought him to the land of Canaan and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, which Abraham brought with the field from Ephron the Hittite as a property for a burial site. And after he had buried his father, Joseph returned to Mizraim, he and his brothers, and all who went up with him to bury his father. And when Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph hates us and pays us back all the evil that we did to him?" And they sent word to Joseph, saying, "Before your father died, he commanded, saying, 'This is what you are to say to Joseph. I beg you, please forgive the transgressions of your brothers and their sin, for they did evil to you. And now, please forgive the transgression of the servants of Elohim of your father.' And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. And his brothers also went and fell down before his face, and they said, 'See, we are your servants.' And Joseph said to them, 'Do not fear, for I am in the place of Elohim. And you intended evil against me, but Elohim intended it for good, in order to do it as it is this day, to keep a great many people alive. And now do not fear, I provide for you and your little ones.' So he comforted them and spoke kindly to them. And Joseph dwelt in Mitzrayim, he and his father's household, and Joseph lived 110 years. And Joseph saw Ephraim's children to the third generation. The children of Machir, son of Manasseh, were also brought up on Joseph's knees. Verse 24, and Joseph said to his brothers, 'I am dying, but Elohim shall certainly visit you and bring you out of this land to the land which he swore to Abraham, to Yishak, and to Yaakov.' And Joseph made the children of Israel swear, saying, 'Elohim shall certainly visit you, and you shall bring up my bones from here.' And Joseph died, being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was placed in a coffin in Mitzrayim." Wow. And so we end Genesis here. And so we've learned that Joseph, after Yaakov passes away, he's buried at the burial site that Abraham purchased. And Joseph tells his brothers and their families and the whole house of Israel that to not fear. The Most High sent him here to Mitzrayim so that he could be in a place, in a position to provide for them. And once Joseph nears his death, he tells them that the Most High is going to visit them and bring them out of the land of Mitzrayim. So we'll stop here for today's study. And to reflect on what we've learned today, we've learned so much. But what we've really learned as we end in Genesis is that the birth of the children of Israel has happened. And so, what we've learned in the book of Genesis is that the Most High created the heavens and the earth. And he began populating the lands through Adam, right? And then Noah and his family, and Abraham, and Isaac, and then Jacob, right? And Jacob has bore 12 sons, right? Who come to be the 12 children of Israel, right? The 12 sons of Israel who are to bear 12 nations, right? Each son is going to bear a nation of people, and all of them are known as the children of Israel. So it's just a beautiful thing to learn and to see how the children of Israel come to be, right? And this is just the beginning. And so if you don't know by now, the Most High's holy word revolves around the children of Israel, right? And we're going to learn so much more as we move into Exodus. But he has given us the beginning. He has given us the foundation. And the foundation of his word revolves around his people, his creation, and then his chosen people, the children of Israel, who he has consistently made a special covenant with, a special bond with through Abraham, right? And then Isaac, and then Jacob. And so I just give all praise to the Most High for just bringing us into this knowledge and leaving us this knowledge for us to learn, and just bringing me into this truth through his word. And I'm just so honored to be chosen to read it and understand it, and to hear it, right? And to be able to study with you, and so that we come to that understanding of his word together. And so it's really just truly an honor. I look forward to moving into the book of Exodus. And as we learn, I can tell you right now, Exodus means to be freed from captivity. And so, because remember I told you that the Most High, his names have meaning, right? And so that's what that's what Exodus means, to be freed from captivity. And so we're going to learn about the Most High's Exodus and how he frees his people from captivity. So we'll end here. As you move out today, about your day, just give all praise to the Most High for knowledge and wisdom and understanding, right? And pray to him for more knowledge and wisdom and understanding. And so, until the next time, I love you. And I pray that your day is as beautiful as our morning has been. And until the next time when we reconvene, I love you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.